Ok, mira, yo me llamo Jose Wejebe, okay, Capitán Jose Wejebe. My name is Captain Jose Wejebe, no te olvides de eso. Y lo que yo hago es salgo personas a pescar. I take people fishing for a living. La entro en mi lancha, empiezo los motores, salimos para afuera, put them in my boat, and take them out and catch them whatever they want to catch. Y conseguimos pescado. Eso es lo que hago. My family came over from Cuba when I was 3, right about 1960. They moved to Miami, and I lived in Miami until I was about 16. I started coming down to the Keys right about when I was 8 years old. Spinning rods go on the other side. My stepdad had a 23-foot boat, and we'd come down here and go all the way to the Marquesas and spend the night. I fell in love with the place, you know. I got my first boat when I was 16, and also my first car. So I would drive to Key West and go again all the way to the Marquesas and spend the night there. And then right about 16 and a half, I moved to the Keys and started collecting tropical fish for a living. Did that for a few years, got my captain's license at 18, and from there I just started guiding.
It doesn't matter if you make a perfect cast. It doesn't matter if you strip it just so, you know, the fish are going to eat when the fish are going to eat. I've made hundreds of casts, perfect casts to fish that should have eaten, and they don't eat. And I've made terrible casts where it lands behind them and stuff, and they spin around and rush over to eat it. So it's really one of those things where, you know, you have the right fly, you have the right setup in the boat, and you have the right fish, and you end up getting rewarded.
Got him. Oh, come on, get through there. No, you're good. Relax, everybody, relax. There's tension. All sorts of craziness happening. I've got a knot in my line, but it'll safely go through the tip. A little knot coming through the line, a little permit taken off some line. Life is good.
Nice job, Jose.
Thanks, Bobby, thanks. You're good. Relax, everybody, relax. You know, it's not a Magnum fish, Stevie, but still.
No, it's a permit on fly rod.
It's a permit on fly rod, yep.
On the Spanish Fly, Jose Wejebe taught millions both the joy and the art of saltwater fishing. But before he was the mentor, he spent a lot of time as a serious student.
In this fishing community of the Upper Keys, there were a lot of legends. You know, there were guys like Flip Pallett and Lefty Cray and Stu App, who were some of the guys who fished with the Joe Brooks and the Ted Williams, that were some of the first guys to come into this area and fish for these huge tarpon on a fly. As kids, you know, we were looking up to these guys as heroes. And to their credit, you know, they took us kind of under their wing, you know. So for me, one of the key things, you know, without these mentors, without these heroes that we looked up to, I don't think I'd be where I am today without those guys.
I don't know if you ever really see yourself in the role of mentor when there's friendship involved. It is there, and it's probably more apparent to the person who's being mentored. With Jose, I got to watch a really unique aspect of the mentoring phenomenon.
I'll tell you, that old saying, what comes around goes around, is pretty true. Flip Pallett was Jose's television filming mentor. I'm sure that I know that, as I was Flip's mentor for his television shows. Jose and Flip were just like brothers together on the show. They did just a great show. Flip does a great show to start with. And Jose's show became, in my mind, the best show on television at that time.
Flip taught him one of the most important things. I've done many shows with Flip. We never try to catch a lot of fish. We try to catch a few fish and then try to set the mood for where we are, what we're doing, what the place is like, the environment, the people. Both he and Jose polished that thing to high form.
Welcome back to Spanish Fly.
After catching a few bluefish with topwater plugs, the fly fisherman Jose takes over.
Look at these guys just sitting there like, God, they look like tarpon daisy chaining almost.
They really? They really do. That one right there is
hello.
Pop,
I am a popper.
Pop. Not
let me try one more time.
But they want it right in front.
Yeah, I think so. Kind of an awkward cast. There we go. I think that should get a nibble.
Good strip, good strip.
Hello? Hello?
Come on.
I'm a popper.
Oh, there you go. Nice take. Oh, what a nice take that was. Right out of the water.
Come on.
Oh, he's there.
I can see him like right under it.
He's saying, you might want to put
That was too easy, Tom. That was way too easy.
I'm gonna put my hat in the console.
That would be a good thing.
So let's talk about what we're gonna do today.
I'm gonna go check that one spot for a early morning roller. See if we can, get up, get some rolling fish back there. For places to fish for tarpon, I think the Florida Keys are probably the best there are. I think the volume of fish that come into the area it's immense. It's a very large population of fish that kind of come in. See him?
Mm-hmm. Pretty tight to him this time. Oh, I don't see that. Major knot. Sorry. Oh, good.
There you go. You got him. All right.
Oh no, major knot.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I don't think I have him anymore.
Oh, that's all right. Hey,
Oh man, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. As long as we're launching them, I'm happy. I have a few patterns of flies that I use. Okay, and I'm pretty selective about my flies. And what'll happen is you'll have a bunch of flies in your box that have worked in the past, and you use them, and then all of a sudden there's something that isn't quite right, and you wish that maybe your flies were maybe a half an inch smaller, or maybe they were just a different shade of a color that you're using. And really that's the neat thing about tarpon fishing is that you use these things one day and you get a feel for what's happening, and then you kind of take what happened that day and you take it home. You say, okay, well I really want to tie some smaller flies and maybe some flies that have a little less color, a little brighter color, or a little darker color, whatever the case may be. You kind of use the information that you got one day, take it out the next day and see how that works. Let's savor them. Okay, let's get all the goodness out of Mr. Bonefish as we can possibly get.
One bonefish in the boat.
Gracias a Dios! So if you take a fluid approach to this whole flats thing, it's really about picking a spot and making sure that the tide is right for that spot. So rather than have a spot in your head, first thing I'll do is look at the tide and let the tide tell you where you're going to fish. You end up being in fish for a longer period in the day.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.